All right, we actually have an encore edition of Algebra 1 today because we're getting 2 lessons in the same class because we had a short lesson. All right, so Unit 8, Practice Test A, we're factoring trinomials, or doing a whole lot of factoring. All right. I do believe there's a typo on number 1. Yeah, because you can't multiply 2 negatives and get a positive. Like, there's no way you could get this and it be a positive. Like, you probably got 3 and 2, right? You got like -3 and +2. All right, that would have been right. And this should have been a -6. I should have double checked that. All right. Because we should have had this would have told us our signs are different. This would have told us our bigger number is negative. All right. So let's hopefully move on to no more typos. All right. This sign tells us our signs are different. This sign tells us our bigger number is negative. Okay. Big number negative. All right. So things that will multiply to give us 24. Let's see, 24 and 1 is -23. Kind of way off. Excuse me. This will give us -2 and 6 and 4, -2. Aha. So there's our, so make sure that the 4 is the positive, then 6 is the negative. Now, remember, the -6 can come first as long as the right number, the sign goes with the right number. Okay. All right. All right. Number 3. Variable. This tells us the signs are the same. This one tells us they're both positive. All right. For 14, there's only a few factors. There's 1 in 14. There's 2 in 7. Well, 1 in 14 gives us 15. 2 and 7 gives us 9. Okay. This sign tells us the signs are the same. This tells us they're both negative. So negative, negative. All right. Factors of 6, that gives us -7. Both negative. All right. So usually when we think of 6, we think of 2 and 3, but it's actually 1 and 6 are our factors here. All right. Are we good with 3 and 4? Yep, got a thumbs up. All right. So V and V. This tells us our signs are different. Okay. This tells us our bigger number is positive. So big number positive. Okay. So Numbers that will go into 28. So we have 28, -1. Well, that's 27. Yeah. It just depends on how I feel that day. That's the question was, well, I count off if they put their own variable, and I was being brutally honest. It just literally depends on how I feel that day. I I'll try to do X because as much as possible because I this was a practice. This was an old practice test, as you can tell, because it had a typo at the very beginning. So you know, all right, all right. This tells us our signs are different. This tells us our bigger number negative. All right, so 14, 1, 7, and 2, 13, -5. So here's our stuff. So we're going to get +2 and -7 there. Woo, way back doing limbo, trying to get our chapstick. All right. Now, remember yesterday's lesson at the examples, they went pretty slow. But once you start doing it, it actually goes a little bit faster because you sit there, you're like, okay, this tells us this, this tells us this. What are the factors of this? Yeah, there was a pre programming step that we had to do first. Okay. All right. Biscuits. All right. This tells us our signs are different. This tells us our bigger number positive. So -36, +5. All right. So we have 36, -1. We have 18, -2. We have 9, -4. Here we go. So +9, -4. This tells us signs are different. This tells us bigger numbers negative. Now, for this one, there's not very many factors of 3 because it's a prime number. All right. Are we good with 7 and 8? Yes. Ooh, 9 and 10. These are the ones that we just learned about today. Yeah, we like these. Our variables D. All right, square root of 4 is 2. Square root of 81 is 9. Square root of x variable is this. Square root of 9 is 3. Okay. All right. Are we good with 9 and 10? Okay. All right. So 11 and 12, we have to do factor by grouping. So group these two. We got to grab this negative. GCF of 10 and 35 is 5. The lowest exponent is y squared. So 5y. Ooh. This would be 2y. And then plus 7. Oh, plus 7. Row to 2. Cheese and crackers, Jeffries. Get it together. Okay. Now, got to factor out a negative. And believe it or not, the GCF here is 3. So 2y plus 7. So 5y squared minus 3. 2y plus 7. Shh, 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 shh. All right. There's number 11. What? So you have 2y plus 7. All right. Does order matter in multiplication? Okay. Don't be a teacher. All right. GCF of 12 and 18 is 6. W squared. 2w minus 3 is 5. Is that GCF? So 2w minus 3. So 6w squared plus 5. And 2w minus 3. All right. For those that's leaving us, don't forget, hit like, hit subscribe, hit the bell. Stay fast times 2 because this is twice in one day. Good stuff, good things. Roll Tide.